I remember being in kindergarten and like my number one goal was like, I want to read. I want to read. I feel like you gain all this information when you're able to read. And that was like my one motivating factor for so long, is I gotta learn to read. And so I think starting then of like this intrinsic goal of I want to be able to read. And I remember my mom having books and I'd like pick them up and pretend like I was reading. And I so inherently wanted to read. That was like one of my very early driving experiences of knowing school's something for me. Filling out FAFSA was such a frustrating experience for us, and an ongoing frustrating experience every year. So just getting into college and figuring out that process was so hard. And then like, I didn't even know the difference between an undergraduate and a graduate degree. What are certificates? What are all of these nuanced things that I'm seeing? Like, just from that like very entry level point, I really didn't have a whole lot of experience. And I remember like asking my friends like, undergraduate, graduate, and they just like knew right away, like, oh, we're applying for undergraduate degrees. And I was like, how do you know that? And why don't I know that? And I actually didn't figure out or find out that I was a first generation college student until after I finished my undergraduate degree. I was in grad school, and it was just kind of like this light bulb moment of like, oh, like it all kind of makes sense now why I had these frustrations, why it was so difficult. And now kind of looking back, I have like so much clarity of why that was such a difficult process. I've had the opportunity to work with first generation college students in various capacities at Park. And I found that each time I get the opportunity to meet with a first generation college student, we do share a very special connection and just like a very, very shared understanding of what that journey is like. And I feel like I can provide a perspective to their journey that not every faculty and staff member can, in sharing kind of the confusions and the nuances to being a first generation college student. And I also share bits and pieces of myself in all of my classes through examples or various things. And I remember sharing in one of my social psychology classes that I was a first generation college student. And after class, one of my students came up to me and was like, oh my gosh, you're just like me. And I never would have thought that. And so then we were able to kind of like share all of the confusions and the frustrations and the imposter syndrome that we experience as first generation college students. I just feel like I've been given this like gift of a lens to be able to really understand students, because I was in their exact same position, not knowing what a syllabus was at times, not knowing how to address professors in an email. I remember being corrected. I remember being like, hey Robert, to a professor, and him being like, call me doctor, and I was just melted. But I can help prevent students from going through those experiences and let them know how to address professors, how to structure your emails, what is a syllabus, talking through those things, and hopefully help save them from some of the confusions and embarrassment that I went through